Today we're going to be starting a unit on what we call data analysis. To start, today we're going to be talking about the mean, median, mode, and range. Let's start by defining each of these terms. So the mean is also known as the average, and it is the sum of all the data values divided by the number of values. Next we have the median, and this is what we call the central number of the data set. It's the number that's in the middle of all the data. Next we have mode. This would be the data value or values that appear the most times in a data set. And then the last one, the range. This is the difference between the highest and lowest values within a data set. We'll take a look at an example. Determine the mean, median, mode, and range of the following data set. Let's start with the mean. To find the mean, we're going to have to add all these numbers up and divide by how many there are. So we'll add 1 plus 7 plus 4 plus 10 plus 7 plus 13 and divide it by 6 because there are 6 data points. This ends up being 42 divided by 6, which is equal to 7. Next we have the median. To find the median, we're going to want to take all these data points and put them in order. I'm going to go from least to greatest. So I have a 1, and then 4, 7, 7, 10, and 13. Now to find the middle point, I'm going to cross off one number at a time from either side. You want to make sure that you are crossing off just one number from each side. Now you'll notice here, you're left with 2 numbers. So you could cross them both off, but really what that means is that the number that's right in between those 2 numbers is going to be the median. So how do you find that median? Well, you find the average or the mean of just those 2 numbers in the middle. If you just have one number in the middle, that's automatically the median. In this case, the number between 7 and 7, well, if you find the average of those 2, it's going to be 7. Next, we're going to find the mode. The mode is the data value or values that show up the most. In this case, 7 shows up twice, while the rest of the numbers only show up once. So 7 is going to be our mode. Now, if there was another number that also showed up twice, then you would have 2 modes. Say instead of 1, 4, 7, 7, 10, 13, you had 1, 4, 7, 7, 10, and 10. Then both 7 and 10 would be the mode. All right, now let's find the range. For the range, you're going to find the difference between the largest and smallest numbers. So that would be the difference between 13 and 1. So 13 minus 1 is equal to 12. So our range is 12. That means how spread out is our data? It has the spread of 12. All right, let's look at example 2. Roger surveyed 20 students in his class about the number of apps each of them downloaded last week. The table below shows how many students downloaded each number of apps. For example, 3 students downloaded 1 app each. Okay, so let's take a look at this chart and try to understand it. So we have the number of apps downloaded on the left column and the number of students on the right. So like this did tell you, it said 3 students downloaded 1 app each. So there were 3 students who each downloaded 1 app. If you keep reading this way, you would say that there are 5 students who each downloaded 2 apps. Now part A asks, what is the mean number of apps downloaded per student? Well, how many students are there altogether? Well, we can see here that we have 20 students that were surveyed, and they're all accounted for on the right column. And so one way we can do this is we can actually just write out each of those values. So there were 3 students who each downloaded 1 app. So 1, 1, and 1. And then there were 5 students who each downloaded 2. So you can write 2 5 times. And you can continue that. So 7 students downloaded 3 apps. So write 3 7 times. And then 5 students downloaded 4 apps each. So 4, write that 5 times. Now we're going to add them all up and divide it by the number of students, which in this case is 20. All right, so adding that up and dividing by 20, we get our answer is 2.7. So on average, the number of apps downloaded per student is 2.7, so somewhere between 2 and 3, but closer to 3. All right, part B. What is the median number of apps downloaded? So we'll stick with the numbers that we were using before, and we're trying to find the middle number. So we can simply cross off one number from each side at a time until we get to the middle. And it looks like we have the two middle numbers are 3. So the average of those two numbers is 3. So that is our median. All right, now let's look at part C. What is the mode of the number of apps downloaded? Now, because the information is organized in this way, it's actually pretty easy to find the mode. Which number shows up the most? Well, it tells you that 1 shows up 3 times, 2 shows up 5 times, 3 shows up 7 times, and 4 shows up 5 times. So 3 is by far the one that shows up the most. So this answer is going to be 3. All right, part D. What is the range of the number of apps downloaded? Well, the range is going to be, well, at most 4, at the very least 1. So 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So the range of the number of apps that were downloaded is 3. How spread out is our data? Well, anywhere between 1 and 4, including 1 and 4, so that has a spread of 3.